Good morning. Hi, my name is Steph. If you'd like to come on and have a seat for some symbolic support, we're going to drop some ink on
Farther.
this scroll, and we're going to scribe for shapes and symbols that may speak to our psyche and psychic senses. We'll add on some tarot and oracle in the shaman's palm configuration, and where Mr. Ghosty here is, we have Ghost Tube for any audio additions from the afterlife that may further add to our auric adventures. Overall, please do receive release freely. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. Let's go. All right. I hope you are doing well. As always, please feel free to comment below what you see, sense, or feel, as your insights do help deepen the reading and reflections. But even if you just want to drop an emoji, whatever feels good, I appreciate any interactions with the channel. All right. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. When you're ready. If you'd like to join me in closing the eyes, taking a nice deep breath, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support in the name and honor of anyone here at any time. Thank you for being my muse, and may you meet a message with meaning. If you want to take a screenshot so you can scry in your own time, personal use only, of course, but please feel well to do so. Okay, so I'm seeing a feminine figure coming through, possibly Julia. Do you know that song from when, I'm going to say when I was a kid back in the day, didn't. Okay, no, it's the Pink Panther again. This might be somebody's aunt that has passed. I don't mean to be creepy the way that kind of came through, but that's the way I'm seeing it. They could have been, if this message is for one or a few, thank you for holding space for them to receive their message. I'm just going to take a moment here to acknowledge her. Hello. She was like a petite woman, almost mousy in nature, but yet had this air about her. This quality that she still owned a room, like size of stature, physical stature, and her energy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like just owning a room coming in. I feel very fancy. Something about like gloves as well. So maybe that's a time frame thing. Something about her ears. I think you might hear her. And I'm getting the sensation if my nose, bridge the nose, mouth
Demon.
here, I don't know if she was a little cranky and just, it doesn't matter, like mousy, but somehow, again, this energy is large. It's not the point, sorry. But the way I'm seeing it is, imagine like this space right here is like the butterfly or the caterpillar. And then if I was to like face paint wings, because I'm seeing it like a mask right here. Could even be in a particular line of your feminine energy that's stepping forward. Also giving me like if Morticia and Maleficent got together to have tea, coffee, goblets of souls in a cup. I don't know. That's being dramatic, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm weak.
It feels like there's something that's being energized in the feminine energy. Now, if it's not in regards to maybe an aunt specifically, this feels like just, what is that? Okay, sorry. There's something about food coloring coming through. Food coloring. I'm splitting. I'm seeing like, okay, hold on.
Not.
I'm seeing like a very, oh, I'm right in here. Let me get my bearings. Because they have no eyes. It's almost like a baby bird in a nest. When I said I was splitting, but it's almost like I'm seeing, it could be a flower or a nest, and leaving the nest or crying from the
Don't
nest
come in.
or something along that lines. But these energies are cawing or crying, but they have no eyes, like a baby bird, or they're still closed. And you know how like baby birds, while so beautiful, like it's a little bit gross and ugly too, that they just don't, they're not fully formed yet. Okay, so when I wander into that, I feel like I'm being fed from a feminine source. This feels like feminine energy that has matured. Whether this is your feminine energy and whatever it is that you are creating, birthing, doing, being, exploring. It's being fed when I follow the food coloring thought. It's changing out colors accordingly, like frequency colors. Sorry, one moment. There are things off to the side I am cutting out. I feel like miming here. It's a very curious sensation. Like a mime. This is what I feel like I'm looking at right now, is a mime.
In front of you.
And so when I go to the butterfly face, because I was seeing it like painted in white, but just like a mime has a painted face. And there could be, for some specifically, still that mother or aunt figure in spirit, or a sister, or your brother, but feminine expressed. For others, this might be a feminine guide coming through, feminine energy. Give me a moment. Because it's like I can see, which is interesting, because from like the baby bird thing, I can't see. But I, Steph, feel like I can see, but I can't hear. So it just looks like a bunch of this. And, it's like looking at a mime. And you're like, what in Sam hell are you talking about? You're not even talking about anything. You're talking with your hands. Body, motions. Okay, so the feminine figure that might have passed, or the feminine energy, maybe she couldn't speak. And she might have even been blind upon her passing. And then when I wander into the other rabbit hole while I'm here,
Old souls.
I feel as though like there's this part of me that it's like see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. Is that a show or a movie or something like that? And it's like these different senses that kind of work in shifts. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna okay, let's add on an oracle card to start this session here for some clarity. But I'm digging it. We're in the mid world here. Great awakening. Walk in your truth, stand firm in your light. How can you trust yourself more? Maybe this is that miming space, because like with the mime, yeah, when you say a word too often, then you're like, am I saying it right? It sounds weird now. It's like I'm looking at this mime feminine figure. They could be two separate things. Like I might be the mime, but then okay, it's fine. I get constipated when I get in there. Anyway, it's like the feeling of looking at a mime and you're like, can I trust? Can I trust? Can I trust what I'm seeing? Can I trust what I might be feeling? But nothing is being said. And yet, I cannot deny, as I'm here, like there's a feminine figure here, and there it is here. There's like this
ceremony,
okay, this presence, right? Now you might be stepping into this presence. You are embodying this energy, trying it on. I'm trying it on, but with like elegance, embodying it with elegance. That's how I'm feeling here for
Bobby.
sure. Bobby Boucher. There's also something, and I'll just share very simply without getting into my own experience with it. The curvature. I know that seems oddly cryptic, but it's the best I can say. It's like as this, like with the butterfly face, is that a thing? There it is. And even like maybe metamorphosis of miming. Oh, I love it. I'm so here. The curvature of what I can consider and create. There's something else. See, I'm not personally a truth seeker per se in the way that I feel that term is utilized. But it's definitely nice to land in experiences and with people making connections that have a feeling where it feels like truth just exists without having to defend or define it. Does that make sense? Like it feels really natural and organic, like an organic oracle of sorts. But then like there's this substance.
Aquarius.
All right, I'm going to keep going here. If I didn't say so already, thank you so much. If you're still here with me, I understand it's surreal, but that's the way we're working with spirit over here, as it leaves a lot of room for us to co-create and connect dots for ourselves. And just kind of like this card that says here, excuse me, walk in your truth, stand firm in your light. So we can each travel the story in our own way, in our own truths, if I may. But not to the point where we stand firm and we're not movable in our knowings, right? Because sometimes it's like there's that feeling. I'm not saying all the time. When a knowing, especially if it's like academically placed, but maybe sometimes intuitively. So that's not necessarily... Okay, it's not the point. When there's a knowing, sometimes, though it's a firm foundation, but it can also create no movement because then we're closed off from other ideas, concepts, etc. And then on the flip side, being never in a knowing, let's say for simplicity's sake, there's nothing really grounding us in to explore said knowing or truth as jumping off points to encourage more exploration or research.
Lower.
Oh, does this make sense? Hopefully somewhere it does. Cave of Ice, please. Sorry, and if I didn't say so already, I'll flip this and we'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. We have here expansion and light. If any of the artistry is standing out to you, please follow your heart. I'm going to leave them both here in the... See, we were talking about that expansion and this light. Stand firm in your light. This metamorphosis mime. Nesting dolls. If this could be part of some sort of, I don't want to say lineage. This feels like layers of me. And it's like I don't get upset at any of the other nesting dolls, the size of them. It's like, oh my goodness, there's another one. Oh my goodness, there's another one. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And though I might get to that smallest one, to the biggest one, they're all like equally this fantastical experience because they're all within each other. Like that's what makes them exciting. and a surprise. So there might be more awakening within. When I wander into the light realm, like in the cave of ice, it feels cold, like cold therapy, not red warm light or red therapy. This feels like light, cold light. And like if I was to wander, like this is light and this is dark light. But that's where it, like, by standing here and like running towards making this choice in this mid world with the scroll here, like these nesting dolls, and being the mother of your own blind baby birds of the brain or heart, and we travel more of the world. Some of you also might be really working with in the astral to the angelic realm. Astral, not so much from an earth space. In the cave of winds is communication. So this is in the one's thoughts. The wind element. I'm hearing wind chimes as well. Something's chiming. There's somebody waiting for, I think it's that woman again. Like, are you coming? Are you coming? Are you coming? We've been waiting for you. You're also going to have a choice. There's always a choice. Where you would like, it's almost like these crystal balls. They are like the nesting dolls. Cave of hearth fires. And the heart. I didn't even look at it, sorry. Power. Dinosaurs in the Jurassic period. It's funny because this came up with a girlfriend and I talking. It seemed to be a theme of... This is like old power.
Mansion
of the mind. Do you know what? Sorry. It's almost as if I saw this mansion, but I saw all these mime characters, like almost like staff, spiritual staff, butlers, and this, that, or the other. And not because they're necessarily in like a role that has any sort of defining meaning. It's almost like they're invisible, but they serve because they're part of this old world of sorts that I think you're choosing to interact with and communicate with.
Are you from here? I'm right here.
But the feeling in the heart of the hearth fires of like passion, it's like seeing, like take the whole stomach, rib cage, and see that as like a big fireplace. And the top of the flame goes to the heart area and then kind of spreads out and like through the mouth, the ears, the nose, even maybe the eyes is all the smoke from this. It's a very interesting way to see it, but I'm going to see it that way. That's fine. And it feels as though you could be, as we shared, it's like being in some sort of Jurassic Jumanji of the heart. And there's vines and there's foliage. And there's all these creatures, big and small, that take up place in the heart space. But it's a whole land of the heart that radiates. And some people, places, things, experiences, memories, whatever the case may be, might be ginormous. Some might be, insects that are ginormous and other insects that are small. There also could be like a land of the lost in our heart space, in that hearth fires. Because I kind of feel like I've been doing clearings of the heart and meeting these animals and energies kind of along the way, representing plant lives, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to say cultivating or manicuring the Jurassic Jumanji, but it's like Jumanji is the kind of like the lesson of working with Jurassic energy. Power.
Come inside.
Cave of Rivers. Okay, we get 2 as well. Don't worry that anything are upside down. I didn't check them. We have Breakthrough and Grounded. This is like this. It's like going through. This is how I'm feeling. It's like expanding out in space through the light and the dark energies, which, by the way, is also represented here. Because it's almost like, again, it's like that Mime energy.
Help me.
Doing our best. Imagine if this energy just came out of this temple. Maybe you want to place yourself there, or a certain part of your energy coming out of this temple. And this is like this guide, this Morticia, whoever, it doesn't matter what it is or who it is. Maybe it is the Oracle at Delphi or Delphi, depending on how you pronounce it. And she's like standing there as, I want to say, like protege.
I want to.
Like a prophecy protege. But somebody might be trying to watch this, or you are they trying to peek or peer? Because I'm getting this feeling as I'm looking at her all of a sudden, and it's like meeting a master mother, and say, somebody comes up to the door, again, back in the day, I don't know if it happens now, and someone actually is like, oh, can Stephanie come out and play? Or, oh, I've just been watching from afar and I have some interest in this, or a door-to-door salesman, something. But it's like you got to take a moment to trust or determine, like, what is this door-to-door salesman selling? What are they saying? How are they moving? What are they not saying in the whole mimery of things? Anyway, this master of mother kind of stands at the door while you, or depending on which version that you're interacting with or kind of embodying, and they're like, no, she's not coming out right now. They're like, but we just want to get a look. Like, well, what's, trying to get behind the mother to
Haunted.
see. Yeah, it's very haunting experience. And this master mother kind of energy is like, no nonsense. Again, this is where like that size from the beginning kind of feminine auntie or something is like, no nonsense, no bull. Like, no, she's not coming out to play. She's busy. Your nosiness can move along. And when she is done her homework, she can come out and play. I don't know. This is what this feels like. But in the mid-world of this scroll and this card of Great Awakening, to having the breakthrough and bring it down into earth. This power of communication, even if it's within the self, because I feel like that's like a point. That's the point to start from. Also, I'm hearing very clearly, to the moon and back, I love you. To the moon and back, I love you. I saw you poke out there, Cave of Earth. Getting ready to close out here. Happiness. Shambhala. Oh my goodness, I love that. And what was this, just out of curiosity?
I'm eternal.
Deliberation. Because that's like this feeling. I need to deliberate who is trying to like poke, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? But it's almost like this is what you're doing. Like, you're doing your homework by doing this. By sitting in the nesting dolls, putting the nesting dolls back together, taking the nesting dolls apart, realizing there's other configurations as well of the nesting dolls to make inevitably maybe 3 nesting dolls, or put them all together and make 1 nesting doll. And there's also like seeing like a baby or a toddler put things together, because it's like, what is it? Fine motor skills. And there's no deterrent in playing with all those different nesting dolls. There's no deterrent. There's nobody coming in and saying, or like this master mother kind of energy, no, it must be done this way. Now, there's discipline, but that's something different. The discipline is deliberate, and maybe you're bringing discipline in to when you're like, no, I can't come out and play right now. Or if you're like me, like I really want to take a nap. And you're like, okay, but be deliberate. Why don't you spend or consider spending whatever time, in meditation or do some movement or do your dishes and then have a nap. You got to be able to bring it into the mundane type thing. Anyway, but nonetheless, here we are in the cave of earth. What comes down through this grounded nature is deliberate happiness, doing things that deliberately make me happy, and all my nesting dolls can come in. I am seeing, okay, so it's like if Wilma Flintstone and Marge Simpson got together, that's how I'm seeing that. And I'm seeing books with me, or I have things that I'm carrying in front of me. Here's the funny thing, it's also in front of my heart. If you can imagine like high school, especially like TV depicted high school where they're carrying their books in front of them, walking down the hallway and whatnot. Somebody also might be in college for communications. Like that's the place that you start. I have no idea. I didn't go to any sort of traditional college or university, but I don't know if like communications is a place to start or it's like I don't know, a course that you have to take or something along that lines. But this is where we're at. This is where we're at. And I do feel like there needs to be or is already, if one's feeling isolated by one's own discipline or by another energy that makes me feel separate, like no, Steph can't come out and play right now, and you're like, oh, but I just want to go and play. It's not a punishment. Does that make sense? It's really not a punishment. It's like almost to nurturing the ability or the potential within that of the power that you have chosen or are choosing, and whatever channel that is, personal, professional, corporate, creative, romantic, platonic, the yada yada yadas. In order for the expansion, it's kind of like astral traveling or consciousness connection, traveling the universe through the mind.
Only for you.
It's in sitting with the self here and now to connect to all those layers that inevitably, because I'm seeing that nesting doll just go poof, 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 poof. That's the expansion. Then it comes back in. And then as you move through, after your homework, you go and play or you do your groceries or you go on your date, whatever the case is, then it's a radiance, which kind of brings me back to that curvature, the radiance. Okay, I'm going to see you on the flip side tomorrow. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertained. And until then, so much love. Bye. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ching, chang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ching, ching, walla, walla, bing, bang.